9 o'clock on the nose. Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley live with you on WFMY Plus. Thank you for joining us here on our streaming service. You can download us and just keep us in mind whenever there's bad weather. We're probably going to be popping up here with some updates for you. And we do have some bad weather tonight across our Piedmont Triad area. We've been tracking a line of showers and thunderstorms over the last few hours that keeps on chugging along through. Now, right now, we've just been tracking this through Guilford County and the Greensboro area, but at this point, it's starting to take its eyes closer toward Burlington and Alamance County up next. So you are now on the clock, as it were, for this strong or severe thunderstorm. We haven't had too much damage when it comes to this line, but there are some scattered power outages across some of our counties, specifically Stokes County, where there are a number out of power, about 2,000 last I saw. A couple hundred up in Rockingham, a few hundred in Guilford, and a few hundred in Forsyth County. So nothing terribly widespread, but some pockets of wind damage are likely happening with this as it moves on by. Lots of lightning is another big feature, and a lot of water. We're talking about a lot of rain here pushing on by, and it's not the only round of showers and storms that we're going to deal with for tonight. It just so happens to be the first one. Here, this one is. That's going to be sliding by between now and about 10 o'clock. But notice back here in the foothills, we have round two. That's sort of developing a new line right now, and that'll be pushing into our Triad area pretty shortly, closer to that 11 o'clock and midnight time frame. And then behind that, there's even more rain out in Tennessee. So you get the idea why we've been talking today about widespread thunderstorms and also that threat of flooding rain and possibly gusty winds between now and around midnight. Those are the main concerns that I have for you as we track this system through our Triad area. The best thing you can do, number one, lightning safety. If you're hearing that thunder outside, you are close enough to being struck by lightning, get indoors. Just do it until these storms kind of pass and you stop hearing that thunder. That's the best thing. Also, keep that News 2 app close by and make sure you're staying informed. These storms have been very, very picturesque here. Big downpours, lots of cloud cover, of course, too, and some driving rainfall. That was the storm over the last 2 hours or so in the High Point area. Now it's getting a bit dark. Your weather is improving a little bit in High Point. Earlier today in Winston-Salem, this is a pretty impressive view. This is around 7 o'clock, and then it rolled on by with some big downpours, then a bit of a break in the action, and now just some steadier rain is what you've been seeing in Forsyth County since then. You're kind of getting ready for round two coming up later on. Now, we did catch this bolt of lightning on our weather camera from Winston-Salem, looking off to the west, right over the Winston-Salem Dash Stadium. Pretty impressive and definitely illustrates the lightning danger that we have for tonight. There's been so much lightning outside. In Guilford County, you're still going through this nasty thunderstorm. Now, the National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning until 9:30, so over the next 25 minutes for Alamance County and for Guilford. Not for the whole parts of those counties. If you're in western Greensboro, you're really not included, because if we zoom this out here, you look at Guilford, the worst of the storm has already moved through downtown. If you're watching from West Greensboro, PTI area, Summerfield, Oak Ridge, Lake Jeanette, Lake Townsend, Lake Brant, anywhere in the West Wendover area, Adams Farm, Jamestown, you're clear from this storm. But it is still rolling through northeast Guilford, Sedalia, Whitsett, also over toward Pleasant Garden, places like southeast Guilford County. You're still going through the strong to severe weather over here. And then it's moving into Gibsonville, McLeansville, Burlington, Elon. Those will be up next. So I'm going to take the labels off here, and we're just going to do some live storm tracking on the fly. So let's take the labels off so you can see more. And then let's kind of track the estimated arrival times of the really heavy rain. This is only moving at about 25 miles per hour, so it's not a speed demon here. Elon, any minute now, you're seeing the thunder, lightning, and rain. Burlington, about 9:15. Graham would be about 9:20. And then Mebane by about 9:30 or so this evening. And then after that, it'll start to move its way over into Orange County. Places like Snow Camp, you'd be about the same as Graham, about 9:20. Saxbahaw a little bit closer to that 9:30 time frame. But this is basically a wall of water here. The rain is coming down at a really, really heavy clip. And we're also seeing some gusty winds inside. We're going to put on our velocity mode, which does tend to show us our wind speed, or at least it tries to estimate how high those winds are inside the cloud. So let's take a look at that. This is about 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts moving on by. We just got a new scan of the radar, so let's update that for you. Again, severe thunderstorm warning continues for Guilford and Alamance here. So I'm going to pause the radar, show you where the worst of it is. Alamance Church Road, you're going through the middle of this right now. This is where the hardest of the rainfall is. Some lightning strikes are happening as well, right near Southeast Guilford and Southeast School Road. Up we go, closer to I-40. Here's Whitsett. This is right there along Rock Creek Dairy Road. We have the Red Oak Brewery right about here is a bit of a landmark for you. Elon just off screen there. This is headed your way. So it's just about to push out of Guilford County and start to move into Alamance County. Now McLeansville, you're still dealing with this on the backside. Right about where I am is getting cleared here in Northeast Greensboro, but Northeast High School, places like this near McLeansville, still dealing with a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning, and possibly some gusty winds. Now if you're in Randolph, you say, well, what about us? Where's our storm? Most of it is fizzled out in your side of things, but there is a bit of a storm here that's just started to get its act together right about here. So this is just to the east of Randleman. There's Randleman, level cross of course too. This storm has just started to blow up a little bit like a big meatball. There it is right there on Highway 22. It's going to approach Julian and Liberty going off to the east over the next couple of minutes. So that's kind of extending that line that already exists. Let's go up to Rockingham County. Your weather is finally starting to improve a little bit. You've had a tough time. Let me put this hour-long loop on here for you just to show you how bad the storm was up in this area. Tons and tons of lightning, but that started to go away. We're seeing just some moderate rainfall. That's a nice gentle rain that's not going to bother anybody. But at the same time, as it moves out of your area, it is moving into Caswell. And Caswell County, you're really getting slammed right now. Heavy, heavy rain, lots of frequent lightning. This storm does continue in Danville, Virginia as well, but it's a nasty looking storm here, and it's going to continue a little while longer. So you're not done with this, and there are more, as we said, off to the west. Current lightning strikes across the western and central parts of North Carolina, about 150. There were more than this a little while ago. They've started to tail off a little bit, but there's still plenty of them across our area, more of them developing in Wilkes County. You see live ones popping up all the time as we're still detecting more. Technology is great. We can show you where these things are popping up, but the most in our area right now are in Caswell and still some in parts of Guilford County. Still have some lightning strikes going on in parts of Guilford. Alamance County is starting to get closer to you. I'm going to show you your Burlington weather camera because we do want to take a look at that every now and then just to see what's going on a live view. So let's see how that's looking. There should be a pretty good, oh yeah, let's hang on this for a little while. So we're going to see a lot of lightning on this camera. You're also noticing that big white object in the foreground. That's one of the flags. It's blown out because of the auto irising, but bottom line, it's a flag. I think it's the American flag right there. But anyway, lots of lightning is approaching. If it were daytime, we would see a big, impressive shelf cloud moving into Burlington. But this camera does look west, and it's just going to be a light show. So this is what you're seeing if you're in these areas. Tons and tons of constant lightning. And every time you see that lightning, it's going to make a bit of a sound. So if you're there for yourself, you'd be hearing thunder to go along with it. So it's a noisy night of weather and a busy night of weather over that way. So buckle up. It's coming into Alamance County for sure right now. Pretty impressive system. Lots of electricity to go along with this and just that constant lightning. Wow, looking pretty good. And not in a good way, of course, not something that you want to see, but it is impressive nonetheless. It's going to cool you down a bit when it rolls through. Current temperature is still 83 degrees in Burlington, dew points at 71. That's not going to hold much longer as we continue to see this storm through our area. Danville, Virginia, another camera we could show you moving on by. That's going to be one that's also seeing some lightning strikes as well from time to time. But it looks like Burlington was a lot more impressive, so we'll hold on that one a little while longer as we continue to track this strong and severe thunderstorm kind of rolling into Alamance County. It was in Guilford. It's starting to move out of Guilford a little bit, and pushing into Alamance up next. So you're under the gun right now. High Point, you are improving a little bit. We have better visibility. We can even see an airplane in the distance there. Winston-Salem still dealing with some lightning, but not as much as earlier, of course. Here's a little view of that line of showers and storms on the wider view. We can kind of look at this all at once here. But again, this line of showers and storms just kind of pushing on by. Let's kind of look at Futurecast now, as we've shown you a lot of where the storms are right now. Let's talk more about where they're going and what kind of threats we're talking about. Again, this is not a huge threat when it comes to wind damage, but if you get a couple of different storms, there could be some flooding that happens. Now, our Futurecast is a little bit underdoing the current radar representation, but it does keep the action going through much of the night. So that's interesting here. We might not be done with things by midnight. Instead, you could still have showers and storms going through 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock or so, and they keep on rolling even into parts of the morning. So a noisy night of weather, that's a pretty good bet for a lot of us. So don't be shocked if you continue to deal with some thunder a little while longer. Now, tomorrow, a bit of an unusual day. We could have more cloud cover than usual, more chances for morning and afternoon rain. That could keep our temperature held back a little bit. So much of the day might not be that hot and sticky. Instead, it could be a little bit more comfortable than we're used to. And then the real good stuff, that's arriving on Thursday. That's when we see some cooler air start to move into our area and a little bit less humid as well. Here's another computer model that might have a better handle on things. This is closer to midnight tonight, and then by 1 and 2 a.m. it kind of puts a lot of this off to our east. I tend to think that's more realistic than what we were just showing you. Here's a cold front rolling into our area. That's part of what's causing this. It's not the random pop-up storms like we've had so much of in recent weeks. Instead, it's actually an organized weather system, and behind it there will be an organized weather change. You can expect temperatures to drop a little bit, the humidity will drop a little bit, and that storm chance will drop almost completely for Thursday. So we still have a threat of a couple pop-up showers and storms for tomorrow, but we don't really have that concern anymore once we get to Thursday, 4th of July, Friday, and for Saturday. Going into the weekend, things are looking a bit better. They're definitely looking better for outdoor plans, and you might even have some more comfort. Isn't that a luxury to say at this time of year? But dew points trading in the 70s there, and well, getting some 60s for dew points instead. So we'll take what we can get. Another little segment of weather I wanted to mention. If you have 4th of July weekend plans, you shouldn't stress about this all that much, but this same cold front that's moving our way, it is going to stall off the southeast coast and the Gulf Coast. That's something to keep an eye on. There sometimes can be a tropical depression that does pop up. That would be something of a concern, I would imagine, into early next week if it were to happen. It's just a low chance. Again, I wouldn't worry about that all that much right now. Let's go back while I still have you here and look at the latest live radar, because we still have that active warning moving on by. First line moving through, second line is developing off to the west. So we're not done with the storms. This is just going to kind of be round after round. We talked about this being a long-lived system tonight, and that is proving to be the case. So here you are in Alamance County. You're getting ready for these showers and storms to arrive. They are pushing in on Elon right now. Burlington up next. Heavy rain in parts of eastern Guilford County. They have trimmed back this warning a little bit in Guilford to take downtown Greensboro out of it. It's only now for areas basically east of 29 and east of the urban loop. Now, elsewhere, there is still some really nasty weather going on in Caswell County, and we still have that storm that's just barely over the Randolph County line. Let's look back out to the west. This is near Wilkes County. Another line of showers and storms developing. We have another one here in Iredell County. We've got a new flash flood warning popping up where flood concerns could start to be a bit of an issue. So as we go forward, I think we're going to see less of the severe thunderstorm warning and more of the flash flood warning. So that's going to be when you have storms rolling over the same area that already had some bad storms. So that's something to keep in mind as we go throughout the rest of the night tonight. More and more heavy rain moving in, and you could see more of those flooding problems start to develop. So that's kind of the name of the game here on the wide view of the radar, saying goodbye to round number 1. That'll be out of our area in about the next hour. And then round number 2, that'll be with us through about 10 and 11 o'clock for this evening. I'm going to leave you with this live radar here for a little while longer, and then we're going to let you go. We'll have that pop-up storm potential through the rest of the night tonight, which might make it a little difficult for sleeping. We'll be back with our next cut in on WFMY Plus coming up at about 10 o'clock. And of course, you can always catch our live newscast coming up at 11 o'clock this evening.